Clone Wars.
May the 4th be with you. You know, this is a video series I've been thinking about for a long time, but I kept putting it off and putting it off. But on the holy day, May the 4th, I decided it was finally time to begin the Flutter Clone Wars. You see, over the past couple years, I think the Flutter video education space has gotten a bit stale. We used to push the bounds of what was possible. We used to create amazing things with Flutter and show the world how to do it, but I think over the last couple years, we've started making videos just about how to use columns and stacks for simple UIs. We don't delve into problems anymore. We don't look at an interesting goal and figure out how to get there. And I think for that reason, some people out there believe that Flutter can't do the cool things that all the big apps do. Well, in this video series, we're going to prove them wrong. Because together, we are going to clone all the coolest pieces of all the biggest apps in the universe. But before we do that, are you subscribed to this channel? If not, why not? What more do I have to do for you to subscribe to this channel? Look at this bucket on my head. Do you know how many internet points this helmet costs? Do you know how many subscribers I have to get to pay this thing off? Do me a favor, be one of those subscribers. Costs you nothing. Just go down there and click the subscribe button. Now with that out of the way, what are we going to clone today? Well, we're going to clone this effect that you see right above my head. It's this glitchy price change effect. You see, cryptocurrencies in the Robinhood app, that's the app that we're looking at, cryptocurrencies change their price, I don't know, about every 1.5 seconds. And every time that price changes, if it goes up, we get this glitchy green effect, and if it goes down, we get a glitchy red effect. We're going to recreate that effect with Flutter. And I'm going to show you how I thought about that problem, how I broke it down, and then how I built it back up. So let's go clone part of the Robinhood app. A good starting point to solving this problem is to first get some text on our screen that's roughly the same size as what we see here in this example. Let's begin there. Now you see over here on the left, you can ignore most of this. We have this little text widget right here. And this text widget, we want to replace it with the widget that eventually creates this whole price glitch effect. Now I've created an empty widget called glitchy price. So let's jump in there. And it literally has nothing but a container. Well, let's replace this container with a text widget. And let's just hard code a price in here. Let's say 40,000. Doesn't really matter what the number is here. Let's save that. And let's make sure the text is white. All right, but it's still really small. So let's go with a font size of, I don't know, say 48. All right, there we go. That's good enough, I think. So what we want to do is figure out how to take this piece of text. We're not going to worry about the other text here because you can create the text that says Bitcoin and the price change. That's all easy stuff. But the question is, given this price, how do we get this glitchy red shake or glitchy green shake? What's going on here? Well, at first, it might look like some kind of motion blur. But really, if you look close, that's not what's going on. In a mobile app, you don't want to spend the resources literally running some kind of blur effect. Really, the only thing that's happening here is there's a copy of the text sitting behind colored green or red, and it shakes really quick. It just moves really quick left and right, and it gives you this glitch effect. And in fact, it's not just one copy of the text that moves left and right, because it glitches out both directions at the same time. There are two copies of the text that move left and right. And because that text, again, is colored green or red, it gives you the visual impression that there's almost a kind of visual glitch because, like if you think about the 3D effect in movies, if you get your lenses just a little bit wrong, the main image becomes red or blue and it kind of moves left or right a little bit. That's kind of the visual effect that we see here. That's what it feels like to us when we look at it. So I think our goal should be to show some red or green text behind the white text and figure out how to offset it left and right to get a similar effect. Let's see what we can do. The first step there, let's forget the animation. Can we display the same text in a different color behind an offset? Well, if we're showing things in front of or behind other things, that's going to be a stack. So let's take this text widget right here. Let's surround it with a stack. Now, before we go much further, let me also make a couple of adjustments here. Let me take this text style out of here. And let's actually take this in as a widget property. And we'll call it base text style because the red and green are a little bit different. So we'll take this .base text style and we'll set it equal to the one that we've already chosen as the default value. I need to come rename it down here to base text style. Now, while we're here, while we're thinking about what we might want to pass into this widget, let's also take in the colors for a price increase and a price decrease. So we'll have price increase color and we'll have price decrease color. Now I think here I already have some colors defined for this. Here's a file that I have which has a few colors under crypto theme. These are some colors that I pulled out of the Robinhood app. So what we can do back here in our glitchy price widget, the default price increase color can be the one that comes from that crypto theme. And we're going to give it a namespace because this value has the same name in both of our files. So I'll call it theme. We'll say theme.price increase color. And then for our widget, we also want to bring in a price decrease color. This is going to be red. The increase is green. This one's red. Okay, and we're also going to want a price. Now I've already created a class called USD, as in US dollars, and that's what we're going to take in as the price. So this is just us doing a little bit of forward thinking here about controls that we're going to want to have over this widget. Let me import USD. And then down here, instead of this manual text that we have, let's say price dot to formatted string. But if I save that, we're going to have a problem because we're not passing in the price. So we come back here to where all of this runs, and I will say price, and here I'll say USD. Need to import that. And we can provide, I guess we can say dollars and cents. So we'll say 40,000, 40,503, that's the number of dollars. And then I don't know, cents doesn't matter. I got one too many digits in there. Okay, save that. And some kind of hot reload error, so let's try a hot restart. Still not matching up. There we go. Okay. So here's our glitchy price. We're passing in a price in US dollars. And we will just take the default text style. We'll take the default increase and decrease colors. Okay, so now back to our widget tree. I was talking about a stack. We brought a stack in here. Let's take this same text and let's just copy it twice. And now we're going to take that base text style and we're going to say, well, copy that with a color. And for now, we're just going to go, let's go with red. Price decrease color. We're going to do that twice. And save. Now there's no difference over here, and that's because we're displaying the red text literally directly behind the white text, so we wouldn't expect to see it. Let's come over to our red text here, and let's wrap it with a positioned widget. And let's have the left be like -15, and save that. Well, now check it out. Now we have some red text over here that's pushed to the left. Although we do have this weird glitch right here where it's cut off. And that's because the stack is clipping, and we don't want the stack to clip. So we're going to turn that off with clip.none, save, and now we've got all the text pushed slightly to the left. Now 15 is a bit much, maybe 10 is a better number. And now let's do the same thing to the other piece of text, but to the right, so in the other direction. Actually, we can just say, instead of -10, we'll just do +10 on the left. Save that. And check it out. Now we have red on the other side. And look at how effective that little bit of movement is, that even without any animation, it already feels kind of like it's blurred, the same way that the actual effect does in the Robinhood app. You know, let's further bump up the size of this text. It's still a bit small here. Let's go real big. It's a little bit better. If we can get this shifted colored text to animate back and forth, then that will give us essentially the animation that we see in the Robinhood app. Well, one thing that I would like to help kind of trigger this effect, we know the effect is supposed to happen when the text changes. So our widget takes in a price. If that price goes up or down, we want to run the glitch. So it probably makes sense that we should go ahead and use a fake stream of prices so that we have something to trigger the effect, and then we can build the effect. And I already actually have a widget that is made to give us fake prices. Open up this file here. So I created this fake Bitcoin price stream. And this is a widget that just runs through a bunch of fake prices every 1.5 seconds, and it calls a builder that we give it with whatever that price is. So this makes it really easy for us to trigger this, whatever effect we build. So let's go ahead and incorporate that. Let's come back here to where we use our glitchy price. And let me surround this with a builder. But instead of a regular builder, I'm going to say fake Bitcoin price stream. And we're going to receive a price. And we're going to pass that in here. And let's see what it's complaining about. Okay, this is no longer a const. And now, when I save this in a moment, our price should begin to change about every 1.5 seconds. Possibly requiring a hot restart. Let's find out. Yeah, maybe there's a random value in there. I can't remember, but you can see that we are getting different prices. Every time this price changes, we want to glitch one way or the other. Now, we're not going to be worried about whether it's positive or negative for right now. We just want to get the glitch working. Now, how do we know in a widget when a property changes? Well, we can't use a stateless widget anymore we need a stateful widget. I'll convert that. And then down here in our state object, we can override did update widget. And I'm going to move that from the bottom of the class because that's never where I want it. And what we can say is, if our new widget.price is not equal to the old widget.price, then we want to run a glitch. Now everything comes down to what happens in glitch. We know this glitch is some kind of animation. It runs over time. I suppose if we really wanted to, we could figure out some way to use an animation controller for this, but I'd actually rather have more control. So instead, we are going to create a ticker of our own and just watch the ticker. Now, if we're going to be messing with tickers, we need the single ticker provider state mixin. And then I'll declare a ticker here, and in init state, we will initialize it. We're going to reuse the same ticker. We're going to start it and stop it as needed. And we're going to need some kind of on-tick callback. Now we have to remember to also override dispose so that we can say, first we need to cancel the ticker. What's the problem here? Well, we need to cancel it and we need to dispose it. I guess that was just some weird compiler issue there. And we also again need the on tick, which is going to receive a duration for the elapsed time. Every single tick of the ticker, we want to control the left-right motion of those two pieces of text. So we can come up here and we can create a variable which is glitch offset, which will begin at 0. Let's take that glitch offset and let's come down here and say negative glitch offset and positive glitch offset. This is going to make the colored text disappear again because, well, after I do a hot restart at least. Let's see, what is it complaining about now? Okay, import, save. Still complaining, huh? Okay, not cancel, it's called stop. All right. And because we added some state, let's do a hot restart, but we don't expect to see the colored text anymore. We need to do something on tick if needed that will actually cause the glitch to animate. But we don't want to run the tick all the time. We only want to run it during a glitch and then stop. So let's say, let's have a glitch duration. And let's say, I don't know, 500 milliseconds. And then let's keep track of the glitch start time. And let's make that nullable. If it's null, it means we're not glitching. If it's not null, it means we are glitching. And then down here in on tick, we will say if the glitch start time is null, which means we shouldn't be ticking, we will tell the timer, or the ticker, excuse me, to stop. and we'll return. But otherwise, we'll calculate the delta in time between right now and the last time that we ran a tick. So that's going to be elapsed time minus the glitched start time. And that's how far we are into this tick. If this change in time, if dt is greater than or equal to glitch duration, then here as well, we're going to say glitch start time, we're going to null it out, and we're going to cancel that ticker because it means we're done. But if we're not done, then here we want to decide how far to push the red or green text to the left and the right. My go-to here is using a sine wave, like the first half of a sine wave. Sine starts at 0, goes out a ways, comes back. Now we don't want to go negative, we just want that 0 out and back behavior. We want the first half of the sine wave. So let's say let's take the elapsed time, the delta in time. Let's get the milliseconds, and let's divide that by the total glitch duration in milliseconds. This is the percentage of completion. So maybe we're 10% through a glitch, or 50%, or 90%. That's what this value is right here. That's how far we want to move in the first half of a sine wave. So we want, like, at 100%, we want that value to be equal to pi. Because pi is halfway through a sine wave. And then we can take the sine of all of that, and now the sine is a value between 0 and 1. But we know that we want to move, like, we had it as 10 pixels before, but let's go with 15 just to exaggerate it a little bit. This is what we want our glitch offset to be. And let's make sure we're mounted, and then we're going to call set state with that. Okay, so this is where we calculate how much we want to push the text to the left and the right. We do this up to 60 times a second here in this tick, but something has to start the tick. So here in glitch, we will say, well, first, if there's a ticker that's ongoing, let's go ahead and stop it. So I don't need the multiple lines there. Okay, so let's stop the ticker. And then let's say glitch start time is equal to right now, which is 0. And then we're going to tell the ticker to start. Now, technically, I think we probably just could have updated this one, the glitch start time, and not stop the ticker, but this shouldn't hurt. So every time the price changes, we glitch. And when we glitch, we start this timer. And every tick of the timer, or at least every tick of the ticker, we recalculate that glitch offset. Let's see what happens there. Hey, check that out. We're still not quite where I want to be, but that's a big step in the right direction, right? And in fact, right now we can probably work in those color values. Let's come up here, and in addition to the glitch offset, and this looks, let me rearrange these a little bit. Let's also add a color for the glitch color. And we'll say that's late initialized. Or you know what, let's just default that. Well, sorry, let's late initialize it, and then in its state, let's just give it a default value of the increase color. And that's because it's nice to not have to deal with a null value. So we're just going to always give it a value. And then here, where we glitch, we will say if the new price is greater than or equal to the old price, we will set the glitch color equal to the price increase color, else glitch color equals price decrease. And I think it's complaining here because I didn't overload the equals part. Let's see what happens if I just do greater than. Okay, greater than works. So we choose what color we want, and then we run the glitch. Let's see what happens with that. Might have to do a hot restart. Let's see, it's going down. Okay, so still not giving us what we want. Are we not? Oh, we also have to use the color. That'd be a smart thing to do, huh? So instead of just always using the decrease color, let's use the glitch color. Now we got red and green, and red and green. Sweet. So we're already getting pretty close. There's really just one detail here that's missing. And you'll notice in the Robinhood app, yeah, it goes out and comes back, but it's a more chaotic motion. It's not just out and back. Like there's jitteriness in the motion. What can we do here to our glitch offset to give us a similar jittery motion? Well, this is the wonderful thing about waves. You can put multiple waves together. So what if we take this one sine wave that goes out and back and we multiply it by another sine wave that goes out and back even faster? Let's give that a try. So let's call it a jitter percent. And the thing is we want it to be faster. So let's take this same calculation down here, but instead of multiplying it by pi, let's multiply it by, I don't know, 4 pi. Let's see what happens. Oh, we have to actually multiply it. So we take the jitter percent and we will tack it on to the end here. Hey, check that out. It's not perfect, but we're pretty close. Like we could sit here and we could tweak the numbers and you can probably see how we would get our Flutter version nearly identical to what's happening in the actual app. Now, it looks like maybe one thing we probably also want to do is lower the opacity of these colors. So like, let's bring them down to 50% opaque. There we go. Now we're pretty much there, right? And that is how you can achieve that price glitch effect from the Robinhood app. We are one step closer to cloning the Robinhood crypto experience. Now, what you saw here was perhaps the most direct solution. In fact, let me run through this solution again, but then I'm going to have something for you that might be a little more useful. So we looked at this text and we noticed early on that it looked blurry. It looked like a blur effect, but it's not a blur effect. It's just a rapid movement of copies of the text. So we layered the copies up in a stack, and then we moved 2 of those copies, one left, one right. We make it red or green based on the change in price. How do we get the change in price? Well, it's passed into our widget. So every time our widget gets a new price, we just check for the difference and we run a glitch. When we run the glitch, we know that the text needs to go out and back, and we don't know the exact equation that they may have used, the exact motion equation, but it's got to go out and it's got to come back. Fundamentally, that means a sine wave. We tried that, but it was too organic. It was kind of too slow. It was all the way out and all the way back. We need something more chaotic. So we took another sine wave that with a higher frequency, and we multiplied it by our main sine wave. So now the motion is a bit unpredictable. It's a sine wave over a sine wave, and it looks more chaotic. That's the approach that we took. Now, I mentioned something that you might find a little more helpful. I will link in the video description the source code where I implemented this originally. And that is actually broken down in a more reusable way. For example, instead of doing all of this in the state object, I introduced a controller. The controller does the jitter. It also adds a little bit more randomness to the jitter. And there's also lots of comments in there. So the source code available on GitHub might show you even more of how you would build this in a production app. But what you've seen here is definitely the fundamental approach that you can use the Flutter to achieve this effect. So I'm happy to say that the very first clone in the Flutter Clone Wars is complete, and I'll leave you by simply saying, may the 4th be with you.